Welcome. Here we are, we're back. It's a new war season, and I'm trying to be more on top of getting my war vids out. Work's kind of chill at the moment. So here we are, and one more. Alright, here we are, node 6 Killmonger, I believe. And my plan here is just to get my SP2 going. That way we can keep Killmonger's power gain in check and keep him above the green door when I'm able. So we fire the SP2, get some nice low damage going. And we also have to watch the falter, which occurs every 10 hits on this node. So, like I said, we're not too worried. Leader doesn't hit super hard, so we won't be taking too much reverb damage back from Killmonger. And yeah, as you can see, we've been able to keep his power gain in check. It's normally when Killmonger gets debuffs, he just starts gaining all, power all the way out there. And yeah, it was a pretty quick fight, pretty straightforward, pretty simple with leader, just light attacks and SP2s. Alright, so here we are next. We're on Path 6, fight number 2, section 1. We have this Void here who I did this fight I think twice last season. I am not a fan. So right now, ideally the plan is to keep the Tranquilize up, and Tranquilize means no debuffs from Void. But unfortunately the Tranquilize fell off while we were charging our heavy for our big SP2. So I think in the future I probably won't charge for all 10 Fury. Okay, and we're back. So, you know what, we're gonna rewind that. Let's get back here. Okay, so at this point, like I said, all of the Tranquilize fell off. Void's debuffs applied, the debuffs from the Tactic and Node applied. It was not a fun time. Then there was the Unstoppable trying to punish SP1. So yeah, like I said, going forward, I don't know, I might just do, definitely would not charge the SP2 or the heavy that long for the SP2. And, I might even stick with SP1s, but I'll see. So at this point, my only focus really is just getting up to enough charges. I know one SP2 is going to finish Void off, so not really worried about the damage I was going to take from any debuffs getting there. As you can see, one SP2 did the trick, and unfortunately, there we go. We're, first war, first death, and I'm just like, man, great way to start the season. But now we're in section 2, path 2, and we're coming up with another leader fight. Here the node has regen, and leader has very potent, very quick regen reversal, so get a couple debuffs rolling. Plan here, since we're dealing with regen this time, we're just going to spam SP1, get the regen from the node, and get our light attacks going. Since Knull threw the SP1, my big plan here is just to, we want to hold a special for as long as we can. And we fire it before the timer expires, so that way, Knull doesn't, I'm not sure what that mode is called, if it has a name, but Knull doesn't go unblockable, unstoppable, and our controls are not reversed. And at that point, hey, a lot of debuffs, a lot of regen reversal, so, leader does what leader does. Next up, we have this Idoom versus, I think it's node 29 Domino. I forget. Anyway, the second fight on Path 2 of Section 2. So I did a mastery change, giving myself more energy resistance. Before I entered the war in general, I changed Idoom's stat focus to energy resistance. And I even leveled up what relic is it? Prowler relic to rank 2. This one has energy resistance, or Iron Man Infinity War. Okay, one of the two. Yeah, whatever relic I'm using has energy resistance. So we know Domino's crit failure can, be a thing, and she's stun immune, so I don't really have, you can't do typical normal Idoom stuff. And I had to make sure to mute the chat. So the plan here is just to use my SP3s. That was risky right there. Ideally, when she's lucky, you don't want to finish your combo, because the worst thing that can happen is she evades your last hit, punishes you with a combo, and you know, when you're fighting Domino, every hit is going to crit. That's how RNG works. So at this point, we're just baiting out SP1s, and like I said, we're just, you know, keeping it safe. She does gain like 8% of a bar power from anytime a buff expires off of you. So here we throw our first SP3. Goal here is just, hey, we're cornered and we need more spacing. So I'm looking, I'm like 1 SP3 rotation. I lost 25% health, she lost 28%. So, you know, hey, about 3 more SP3s and it seems like it'll be close, but hey, 3 more SP3s is what I told myself, and this fight should be over. But since we have the aura on, you know, we can get some critical shots going. So I'm expecting to maybe, you know, have her at least under 50% by the time we get to their next SP3. Now, I could have been, you know, sidestepping her, shallow evading her, some people call it. But, you know, after my Death to Void, I'm just being very cautious. I'm like, I will block a hit instead of being all extra. So that's our goal right now. And as you can see, we're way under the 50% target. Like I said, those critical shocks from the aura, those were a big help. So we're firing SP3 number 2. And we're looking forward to dealing more damage with our critical shocks. So at this point, I'm like, okay, if we have this same type of RNG with the critical shocks, then after my next SP3, the fight should be pretty close to being over. We're not really worried about the time or timing out. We're being very careful, that's why we didn't finish our combo. We're trying to not go all the way with that lucky. And as you can see, we're slowly chipping her away. That time we didn't get to deal as much damage while we had the aura passive open. So I just see it as, okay, SP3 in like a combo or so, and the fight should be done. So instead of 4 SP3s, you know, it took us 3, which, not bad. So you can see during the fight, I'm also backing away a lot whenever I get one of the placebo buffs on me. And I'm trying to ideally keep, if I push her to 2 bars, I don't go any higher above the 2. Ideally, you know, we don't want to get the placebo buffs racked up to a point where they're expiring, and Domino is just gaining power, and, you know, an SP3, a crit bleed, you're gone. But luckily, that was not the case. So I took a screenshot just to be like, okay, you know, almost half of the 60% damage I took was from energy damage. Another like half was from blocked hits. So if I didn't block the hits, I could definitely finish that fight with like 60% health or more. Alright, and don't ask me why we're just chilling on the screen right now. But here we are, this node 48 Gentle, one of the mini boss nodes, and you know, we're letting Idoom cook again. Healed up the full, and it's like, okay, let's get it. Cool thing is, Idoom's a tactic attacker, so, which I forgot coming in here, so you can actually, you know, get around the unstoppable as long as you have the endurance on you. And due to Idoom being able to get his, the shocks, we can play around the stun immune. One of the things you want to be cautious of, though, is, you know, going for the passive stun on the heavy, and say like the shock cooldown timer literally just ended. So we got like walloped off by his heavy at that point. But I'm like, it's cool, you know, we're hanging in there. And go to an SP2, another big burst of damage. And at this point, I'm like, okay, cool. One more SP2 and we should be good to go. So the plan is to combo Striker, combo an SP2. And unfortunately, I don't know. It's like he's going for SP2. I'm supposed to be swiping back. Somehow I just dash right into it, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I can't even explain that one. And at this point, I'm just like, I really just died twice in War 1, bro. Like, come on. And at this point, I didn't even bother to like knock the guy down, which I need to be doing to get my endurance passives going. And so we fire an SP2, and as you can see, the guy's like almost gone. You know, the first few hits weren't blocked. Well, we probably would have been okay, but... And that was all it would have taken. So at this point, I'm just like, you know, we really got to tighten up and buckle down. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're back with our War Vids. Until next time, War 2, stay tuned.